Hugues de Saint Circq. Hugues de Saint Circq was a troubadour from Quercy. Hugues is perhaps most significant to modern historians as the probable author of several vidas and razos of other troubadours, though only one of Bernart de Ventadorn exists under his name. 44 of his songs, including 15 cansos and only 3 canso melodies, have survived, along with a didactic manual entitled Ensenhamen. According to William E. Bergwinkle, as poet, biographer, literary historian, and mythographer, Hugues must be accorded his rightful place as the inventor of troubadour poetry, and the ideological trappings with which it came to be associated. Hugues is probably to be identified with the Hugues who authored the Donnates Provençales, one of the earliest Occitan grammars. This identity fits with Hugues' status as the inventor of troubadour poetry as a distinct type and his life in Italy. Biography. Hugues was born in the town of Tegre to a minor nobleman, Armand, Lord of Saint Circq, a village which no longer exists but was in the vicinity of Rocamadour. According to Hugues' Vida, the castle of Saint Circ lay at the foot of the church of Sainte Maria de Rocamadour, which is atop a cliff overlooking the Alzon River valley and was destroyed by war in Hugues' time. Furthermore, according to his Vida, Hugues' many older brothers sent him off to receive a clerical education in Montpellier. At Montpellier he learned to read and write and discovered songs and poems and servants and cansos and couplets and the deeds and the sayings of the worthy men and the worthy women who were living or had lived in the world. It was through this education that he became a minstrel. Hugues gained fame through the coblas and partiments he exchanged with the Count of Rodez, under whom he probably served in the Albigensian Crusade, and through the 2 tensos he exchanged with Raymond III of Turenne, brother of Maria de Ventadorn. He also had contact with Dalphy d'Alvena, to whom he addressed one poem. According to his Vida, he went into Gascony, where he wandered around on foot, occasionally on horse, penniless. Eventually he settled down with Guillaume de Benage, a countess and viscountess, who introduced him to Savaric de Morleon, who in turn clothed and outfitted him. According to his Vida, he spent a considerable amount of time with Savaric in Poitou and the surrounding regions before heading into Catalonia and Aragon, where he was at the court of Peter II, Castile, where he attended that of Alfonso VIII, and finally Leon, where he was at that of Alfonso IX. Around 1220 he moved east into Provence, where his Vida says he was with all the barons, and into Lombardy and the March of Treviso. During his travels in Languedoc, Spain, Provence, and Italy he probably met many other troubadours. Eventually Hugues is said to have settled down with a wife and children, after which he never composed songs. Hugues' association in Italy with the da Romano and Malaspina families is evident in his surviving poetry. It lasted 40 years while he was in Italy, where he was probably a Guel. Poetry. According to one version of his Vida, Hugues non fez guerres de las cansos, apparently because he was never really in love with a lady, while the biographer commended his lyrical and melodic compositions. He probably regarded his 15 cansos out of a total 44 poems as unusually low. He was reputed to be able to feign love and to praise and belittle women with ease, but after his marriage his poetic output ceased. Hugues' poetry was influenced by his ecclesiastical education. Is mentioned above. He wrote cansos and tensos, but also some servants. His work is in general pedantic and truculent. One of Hugues' servants, which begins Messenche unservants, acknowledges that it is El Son de Naft plagues, an imitation of Bevulgar Midden Sorbers by Arnaft. Another of his servants, which begins as a light work with many textual affinities to at least 4 other troubadour works, but it ends as a political assault on Iselino III da Romano, the viceroy of the Emperor Frederick II in Italy. Italy, cansos quis le per entendre. In Unservants of Oil Fire, Uc demonstrates a hatred of the emperor, accusing him a monster of heresy, of believing in neither immortality nor paradise. Furthermore, he intends to humiliate France and the Church, and so the crusade against him in Apulia is justified because selhquen non crescent non deu terra. Tenor, he who does not believe in God should not reign. Uc also composed a dancetta in which the refrain was apparently repeated between the 4 stanzas. Prose. Late in his life, at the da Romano court, Uc became a representative of the academic prose style then coming into fashion. In this vein he composed a collection of vidas and razos. Most of these were written in Italy, and the numerous historical errors they contain have been attributed to the time and distance between the lives and events they describe. For, judging by the Italianisms which had crept into Uc's vocabulary by the time they were written, he must have been in Italy a while before he began the composition. The razos have been dated to 1227 to 1230 and no post-1219 events are recorded in them. Uc's earliest attempt at biography, however, is the collection of razos of Bertrand de Born, which were possibly penned in Languedoc shortly after his arrival in northern Italy. In his later works he refers to the razos of Bertrand as laughter-script. The other writings, the sole vida to contain a direct claim of authorship is that of Bernart de Ventadorn, which says, Aunuc de Saint Circ, de Louisique uiscrit si mi contet lo vescums nibbles de Ventadorn. Among the vidas he is supposed to have written is one of Sordello, a troubadour at the court of Iselino III and Alberico da Romano. In it he presents what is probably the official court version of the kidnapping of Cunizza, that Iselino ordered him, who lived at the court of Cunizza's erstwhile husband, Risido di San Bonifacio, to take her back to him. Uc wrote an exchange with Pere Guilherme de la Serna, an Italian troubadour, concerning Cunizza, in which Uc attacked her and Pere defended her.